laughing at, bro? The Mac is back.
He's back.
Mystic Mac.
Mystic Mac is back.
By the way, episode 2.
Episode 2, yes.
The fight recap.
Yes, the fight recap. All 40 seconds of it, yes.
Jeez Louise, 40 seconds of it. What did you watch it?
I actually...
In a legal stream, right? You went and supported the Australian economy by going to a pub and having a couple of pints, right?
So, let me just preface this. I actually watched it at home legally on the UFC fight app.
That's bullshit. You can't watch Can you watch pay-per-views on the fight app?
Yes, you can. You can. So, it was... yes, I got that.
Mate, you're saying that with a lot of conviction.
But, yeah, so I didn't watch the whole card.
I didn't even watch... Yeah.
So I actually was hungover and I woke up in the middle of the Holly Holm fight, actually.
Damn, son, what a fight.
Yeah, that nearly put me to sleep as well. So I was like, damn, what the hell am I watching? This is so stupid. She just clenched for like 3 rounds.
Listen, okay? Because there are a lot of casuals that are watching this.
Yeah.
There's a deeper appreciation in this. Like, it's not a bloodthirsty sport, right? We're just not looking at people.
No.
But do you want to talk a little bit about that fight, or are we going to go straight into it?
Not much. She just clenched for 3 rounds.
A lot of hugging.
Yeah, a lot of hugging. Yeah, so she just did it. And even after, like, she got booed pretty badly.
She got pretty bad. You think
when Rogan was interviewing after the fight, she was getting booed, and she was apologizing. Actually, she was saying, "I'm very sorry. This didn't work out the way I wanted to." But
so what did she want? She didn't hug hard enough, or like, what was going to be different?
I think the thing with Holly Holm, and we'll just briefly touch on this, is that she's got those quick sort of punches, but then
that's it.
There's nothing more than that. So
if that doesn't work, that's it.
I think
we hug.
Yeah, we hug.
Yeah. I think the clinches are really aesthetically unpleasing way to fight.
I think she's like a fluke hit fighter. So
you can't say that, mate.
I think she is.
You can't say that.
She doesn't have much technique other than just like quickly just hitting someone.
You can't say that.
Yeah.
What is okay?
You were saying a boo, Holly Holm, before.
Yeah, look, you can not like how a fighter fights, but like there's got to be an inherent appreciation.
Yeah,
to get to the UFC.
She's good.
There's a level.
She's not as good as as she was.
So she's by the way, proper 12.
Proper 12 IC. It's apparently.
Mate, we're out of proper 12, and it was proper 12 for those who kept asking. We're into the iced coffee.
Iced coffee, yes.
And pie. Anyway, onto the fight.
The fight, okay.
You blink, you miss it.
Yeah, actually, even at the start, I was blinking a lot, and I missed like at least half of it.
It's 40 seconds. Seriously, I think so I went to a local to watch it, and it was a good crowd, and they were all G'd up, and there were these the Yardles, the beer Yardles.
Oh yeah.
They had it there, and they had like Conor McGregor stickers on it, and you could tell that people had. It was packed, right? We came there in the Holly Holm fight, so that's the second fight to the main fight. Sorry, the fight precursor to the main fight.
Call it the co-main event.
It was co-main event. So we went there and we couldn't find a seat. So obviously, like, you're just asking for trouble coming that late, right?
Yeah, that's standard for Conor McGregor.
That's standard for a McGregor fight. But I guess my thing is that people that had clearly cleared a whole freaking day, meaning that the fight card started at 2 p.m. Australian time to watch it. And they were jovial, there's proper 12, which I had, which was an amazing whiskey. Conor, if you're watching, subscribe to the link below. So they were jovial and they were ready in 40 seconds.
It was all over.
People were happy, but they were not happy, if that kind of makes sense.
Yeah, if they're waiting all day for the fight and just
it's like...
Not even a minute.
You're satisfied, but you're not satisfied. Like, you've just tasted steak. And you want more of it, but look, man, like, what's to analyze there?
What's to analyze is some very quick moves by Conor.
Yep.
As we said in the preview, we thought it was going to to be either the first or the second round.
Yeah, I believe we had the second round TKO. So we're first round TKO.
Yeah, so
not far off. Just 5 minutes. 6 minutes.
But it was just incredible the way he just came out of the block.
He looked good.
Like, he looked very good.
He looked fast.
He looked fast, which is as I was saying
for
before,
that weight class.
I was saying that it was going up in weight class. How quick will he be? It was very quick.
He was quick. I literally missed the first. So what happens is he comes out with the left and he goes all George Masvidal, right? Like in that he bull rushes Cowboy and goes for the hit.
Yeah.
And he missed like a like that was
so it was good. He missed.
Yeah.
But he got Cerrone in that position where he was down. Then he went for the clinch.
Did he initiate the clinch?
Yes, I think so. Yes, I'm pretty sure he did.
Yeah, based on the really shitty streams that we saw after. So he initiated the clinch.
Yes.
Okay, let's go to the. He missed by a mile, country mile. It was a huge miss. You see it on the replay, and you can't.
You actually, a lot of the highlights that have been. I don't know if UFC has released a highlight on their YouTube, but the ones I saw, I couldn't see anything about that.
Yeah, because I actually missed it.
Yeah,
I was having a chat.
The only time we see highlights is the end part of that punch when Cerrone's at the ground and he's like ducking it.
Okay, so he goes in for the bull rush. He chucks a Masvidal, but instead of basically trying to knee him on the face, he tries to hit him with his left, right? So he misses by a country mile.
Yeah.
But in that engagement, Cowboy in his shoulder gets hit, right? There is some sort. So we don't know how much damage that inflicted initially, but after that they had sort of a clinch engagement, right? So when they were there, I was like, bingo, this is where Cowboy wants it, right? In the clinch, just dirty, negating these rangy attacks that Conor. I'm like, this is perfect. And then he does one of these things. This is like
you reckon that's pre-planned? I reckon that was pre-planned. He knew he was going to get in the clinch, and then he was just going to. He did shoulders that day, mustn't he? He worked out shoulders.
But hold up. So I have not seen that technique used a lot. And usually when you see it against the cage. So it's almost like
right.
So it's your standard clinch is, unless you're trying to do like a Muay Thai clinch where you're holding someone's neck and engaging, knee to head. It's dirty boxing. It's against the cage, and I've seen John Jones do that. But the action. See, what's interesting is why this worked really effective for him is because he was the shorter fighter.
Yes, actually, true.
And because this is Holly Holm. This is how you hug a guy. This is how this is how you hug correctly. You know what? He probably saw the Holly Holm fight. And was like, I teach you how to fight.
I was like, well, what the fuck's she doing? What the fuck?
No, okay, no, hold up. So it really was effective because apparently he popped Cowboy's nose off the back of that. So he went from up to down, and he was
rattled. He was rattled.
He really went for it.
He was rattled.
So reports say that Cowboy got a broken nose out of that.
Damn.
So here's the interesting thing about Cowboy. Have you seen the photo of the last fight that he had against Tony Ferguson?
No, actually.
Cowboy Eye versus Tony Ferguson. Look at that thing. That's a thing of beauty.
Oh. God damn, look at that.
That's beautiful. He must have a really good plastic surgeon.
Yeah.
So basically, Tony popped his eye. Well, it didn't pop his eye, but see, and here's the thing about Cowboy, right?
Yeah.
He has fought that many times. He has got a lot of scar tissue around here.
Yeah.
So if you broke his nose off that's not to discount how much energy and force was, initiated or brought out of that as an action of a movement. It's not necessarily a movement that you'd think would break a nose.
No.
But it's a combination of, there was a lot of mean intentions in that, right? There was a lot of force exerted there. But also, Cowboys just has a lot of mileage on his face. So if you have scar tissue there, you don't need a lot to get it there, right? So one would assume that over the course of, he had 11 fights last year?
Yeah.
11 fights. Fuck. 11 fucking fights. Like there's so much scar. Like maybe you touch the guy and you know what I mean?
Well, it did take Conor three
good rattles of the cage, right?
3 good rattles of that to really get him rattled. He was actually...
He did. He
was very rattled.
He staggered backwards,
right? He staggered back and he was just rattled. He looked it.
Then from there, the head kick.
That is a beautiful head kick.
Bellissimo.
Mate, that is... I was watching that on replay over and over again. That is one of the best head kicks I've seen in a while.
all right, man, you need to calm down.
It is, man. I haven't, because normally you see
until he sponsors actual proper 12. You don't have
to. You haven't seen many head kicks that land in a long time.
Yeah.
Because fighters block it, but the fact that Cerrone was a bit rattled and he was a bit off, he didn't know where his perceptions were. Then he just hits him with
perfect timing.
Perfect timing as well.
I think
that's what I liked more about the kick is that the fact that Conor had the instinct.
To throw it
at that point because he could see in that it was 1 or 2 seconds he could see Cerrone was rattled, so he just went for it.
He went for it, and to be honest, when it comes to the choice of armory and the choice of weapons, it was the kick. It wasn't the left that was required. Then he executed it to perfection. I just think it's ironic, and it's been stated and it'll be overstated again that Cerrone's actually finish him. Is the head kick.
Is the head kick.
And he head kicked him out.
That's what Conor even said. I don't know if you heard it in the post-fight interview with Rogan. He was saying that Cerrone has, I think, was it 10 or 12 head kicks?
He's got a lot of head kicks.
And, it was so great that I got to, hit him with one.
Yeah. I mean, you can't even script that, right?
Yeah, you can't.
But speaking of scripting, rigged?
I've been hearing a lot of this.
Because prior to the fight, there was actually rumors spread by yours truly. No. You heard on the internet that potentially Cerrone was going to throw this fight.
Yeah, because him and Dana White are good buddies. And
think of financial. I don't know, but financially,
makes sense for him, dude.
It makes sense for the UFC.
Yeah, it does.
So
that's their boy. That's their golden boy, man.
Boy, here's the disclosed pay packet, by the way, right? Yeah. And this I'm quoting Brett Okamoto, ESPN. So sue him if these are freaking wrong, right?
Sue us. We just started.
No money, mate. Until YouTube starts giving us some cash, there's no money in the coffin. Can't even afford for proper 12. So 2 to 3 mil for Conor. 200K, mate. Look at the disparity for Cowboy. And I mean, this could be wrong. 200K for Cowboy. Yeah. And if he wins, he gets another 200K. And as a result, 200K, right?
Yeah.
Look at the disparity in the pay packet.
That's a lot. So there had to be some money thrown.
Well, hold up. Uncle Dana. So what if Uncle Dana goes, yo, Cowboy? He's like, yo, what up? He's like, if I were to give you, another 500K at the bottom of the table.
How can you say no to that?
How can you say no to that?
Well, you can't say no if you're really integrity and all that.
He's a fighter, man.
He's a fighter at the end of the day.
This is his biggest payday, by the way. This is probably going to be the apex of his career.
Yeah.
In terms of all eyes on.
And if you
shout
saw
out to Tupac.
You saw the end of the fight. Cowboy was sort of, the way he was talking was like, he was sort of giving his retirement speech. Like, it's so weird.
Yeah.
He was like, oh, thank you everyone for coming out. Like, thank you.
Stephen A. Smith actually asked him this, and mate, the ESPN still got to figure out all that shit, and that's why they're hiring like former fighters in Bisping and Chael Sonnen to because their main commentators, Michael Kellerman and Stephen. You've heard of Stephen A. Smith, right? Yeah. They're really articulate. So Michael Kellerman is from the boxing days, so he really knows that sport back to forth, right? Yeah. Stephen A. is a basketball NFL guy, so they've got that covered. But the UFC, they're really out of their depth. So basically, in the one interview, Stephen A. asked Cowboy if this was his final hurrah, and Cowboy kind of got shitty about that. Yeah, it was. So anyway, I guess the short of it is, I mean, two thoughts, right? One is he didn't even land a freaking punch, man. Not even one. He just like like, you know what I mean?
The thing is, it happened.
It did happen so quick.
That's why I'm saying it's not because it just happened so quickly. It just took him by surprise, I think. It
did, and we touched in the fight preview that he's a notoriously slow starter.
Yeah.
So it lines up. Yeah. And then the other thought is like, mate, if you're going to arrange your rig, mate, you tell the guy, don't bloody kick me in the face and rearrange my... Like, there are easier ways to do that, man. Like... You know what I mean?
His face got pretty fucked up. If it was a rig.
If that was a rig.
He got fucked up.
If that was rigged...
I'll be pissed.
I'd be, a cowboy. I'd be like, listen, Dana.
Mate,
Uncle Dana.
If he got 500K,
mate,
let's say, extra 500k.
I mean,
you probably have to spend 200 of that. On
1/3 of that is going to go to the plastic. Why has Cerrone got an Irish accent?
I don't.
So anyway, look, there were murmurings that it was rigged, but maybe you got to give it a Conor, right? Like what else can you ask? You wanted a longer fight. You know, everyone wanted that. You wanted to really test. You really wanted to see what he was. Yeah. But you know, in the end of the day, he came out guns a blazing. Yeah. The quicker fighter. He took care of business. And if the scripts were reversed, you'd be saying, "Wow, Cowboy Cerrone." Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. So. Yeah, it's unfortunate.
I think it was a shock to everyone how quick came out. Because I was just like, I don't think, because even I said he would try to feel it out for one round.
Of course, yeah.
Because it is coming back after
a
couple of years. Like he'll feel it out for one round.
Stakes are high, so why wouldn't you, right? Yeah. There's no, it's a 5-round fight.
But yeah, just like the first second he's doing something, like I was just, whoa, what the hell? Like it was very shocked.
Agree. So tell me, is Conor back? Like, is he part of the UFC's elite now? Like, off this 40-second performance, what can we claim? Is he back?
Ooh, it is hard to tell.
It's hard to tell, right?
It's hard to tell.
Inconclusive.
Yeah, inconclusive because he looked quick.
He looked good.
40
seconds he looked good.
From what I've been told, so apparently Tony Robbins was in the ring at the end. Did you notice that?
I didn't notice that, but I saw on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
So how big is Tony Robbins?
He's massive, man.
Man.
Dude is massive. Man. Okay. So Tony Robbins was there. Apparently he was helping Conor, becoming more focused and basically getting back to what made him, famous in the first place was that intensity, that focus, trying to get that back. Just as we were saying in the previous episode that, Conor playing the redemption focus, sort of
hold on.
Not getting into any bullshit.
I'll pause you there. Dude, he's a heavyweight.
Look at him. He's massive.
He's huge. Is that Tony Robbins or Stipe Miocic? Sorry, mate.
So what I could tell in that 40 seconds was Conor looked like the old Conor.
Yeah, he did. He definitely did.
He looked like
someone. He looked like the young, like
the aggressive, the dominant, the
care in the world.
Yeah, that Conor.
Jose Aldo, really like lightning quick, like a cat.
Lightning quick. He looked very good, and so it's hard to judge from 40 seconds. But everything he did, they did it right.
Yep. That was as good as a 40 seconds is.
The kick.
Good variety, right?
Yeah, the clench, the kick, the punching afterwards.
You know what? You're right. It was a very seamless interchange of several mixed martial arts techniques. Yeah. So an aggressive punch, missed. Yeah. Transition to the clinch, then showed us one of I don't even know what to call that, like an up to down, like shoulder bash. Like you're right. Transition into that, disengaged, did the kick, and you're right. Like it's actually a great encapsulation of mixed martial arts because there were so many different techniques in that 40 seconds, which is a lot more than you'd see in a lot of that's a good way of thinking about it. Yeah. A lot of knockouts, TKOs, you have much less techniques than that.
Yeah. So he did showcase a lot in that 40 seconds, but
it's hard to tell, right?
It's hard to tell because the main problem everyone thinks that Conor has is the cardio issue.
Correct.
So that's not that question is
still unanswered.
It's unanswered. We can't really take much from this.
Grain of salt, good salt,
good salt, but it's
premium shit. But it's still salt. It's still salty. Yeah. Look, it's here's how I see it as a spectrum, right? Yeah. He's probably not as good as we think he is. Yeah. And it's probably not as bad. Yeah, it's a cop out. It's somewhere in the middle. So you can't say
he's definitely improved.
He definitely looks like the old Conor, right? Yeah. So you can't say that Conor's back. He's back in the winning column.
Yeah, he's back in the winning column in that sense.
But there's a lot. So this is what I gleaned, right? Yeah. Against stand-up fighters, he is very comfortable. Yeah. He did not do any of that running against Khabib because he's worried about the takedown. Yeah. So stylistically, what a lot of people were dubious about in that Conor received preferential treatment in terms of matchmaking on his way up. Yeah. He's very comfortable with the strikers, right? Yeah. So that's what we learned. We've learned that, in a very limited sample size, that, he looks very comfortable at 170.
Yes, he does.
He looks jacked.
He does look comfortable, which I was sort of questioning whether he would be comfortable at 170, but he looked pretty comfortable to me in that.
40 seconds, yeah.
40 seconds. But no, it was more the way he moved in that 40 seconds.
I agree.
I just felt that with Khabib, he was moving a bit awkwardly.
He was, but that's the threat of the Khabib takedown.
Yeah. It was in his head, basically.
And you know, harkening back to Khabib, which will be interesting because that's definitely a fight that the UFC wants to run back, is, you know, those mind games definitely played back not only at Khabib but at Conor.
Yeah,
had to. Like, you can't talk that much shit to someone and not have it have some etch on you, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, so that's definitely one element of it. Yeah, I mean, you picked it, but we still have no idea how good his cardio is.
Yeah, you can't tell much from this.
And
from what I'm hearing, he wants a fight very quickly.
Yeah, well, 40 seconds. More, you better believe it. He needs another fight very quickly. He needs another fight quickly. It makes sense. He took no damage.
Yeah.
Like zilch, zero, nada.
He probably thinks he wasn't tested.
Well, he wasn't. Yeah, he was, but he wasn't, you know?
Yeah.
But look, conclusion is, let's face it, everyone's happy when, you know, Conor's winning. Yeah. Dana would have loved it.
Dana was dancing like from the 30th second, I think.
It was like the Monopoly man. You know,
Man, Dana was dancing. Everyone was dancing. Like, if you look at the crowd, everyone was going nuts.
Conor McGregor to the UFC is a one-man stimulus package.
Yeah, hell yeah, man.
It's printing cash.
It's printing cash for him.
Cash money.
Big money.
Young money.
Look at all the celebrities over there as well.
Yeah. Brady,
Batista.
Man, Batista looks like a UFC. Well, obviously.
Yeah, he looks pretty. He looks jacked, but
there's a bit of Brokeback Mountain vibes.
Yeah, I didn't get the I know I like Cerrone, but come on, like
it was a good hat.
It looked weird.
He pulls the hat up. Yeah, I think it looked good. Yeah. But yeah, like everyone's you know, the UFC is a good place to be when Conor's winning.
Yeah,
and I think
definitely.
To the next, you know, segue of the show is it really opens up in terms of who his next dance partners are.
There's a lot to choose from right now.
Ooh.
So it's a bit of a conundrum. There's a lot to choose from.
Yep.
But at the same time, there isn't. I'll explain why as well. But we can go into what your predictions are, I think, of who they are going to be.
Okay, so this is actually a very multi-layered thought process. It's very 3D, right? It's not very linear. So before I actually begin, can you tell me why you think there's not a lot to choose from? Like, I'm just intrigued.
Well, I'll just sort of run, like, what I'm reading, what I'm hearing. There's a lot of... so, obviously the money fight is Khabib. Or whoever wins out of Khabib and Tony. But I still think the money fight is even Khabib.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There's, 100%.
Khabib and Tony are fighting in
Khabib
March.
loses, and you can still make it insane. Yeah. People will watch it, right?
People watch it. It'll be the biggest fight. Khabib and Tony in March. Or April, is it? March, I think.
Yeah. I believe it's March.
Yeah. So that's happening in March.
Yep.
Now, the problem comes because of Ramadan.
Oof.
So Ramadan is...
Sorry, April. Jeez.
Yes.
And then April 19th. When is Ramadan?
Ramadan is after that.
How long does Ramadan go for?
I don't know, but I think Conor's been told he'll have to wait till the end of the year.
Yeah, I've heard that.
For Khabib.
If he wants Khabib.
Now, Conor's like...
Not willing to wait.
That. I don't want to wait that long.
He said prior to that he wants 4 fights this year.
Yes.
Yeah.
So he doesn't want to wait that long.
Yeah.
And he's trying to get somehow...
Some sort of... A fight.
A fight with Khabib.
He's looking for a fight.
And he wants that fight in Moscow, in Russia.
Mate.
That
would be
nuts.
Sick.
That would be nuts.
Putin would be there.
I don't know any other Russian.
Putin would be there.
Yeah, but
Putin would be there.
I just can't. Man, that would be the crowd of the century. I reckon.
You know what? Yeah, I saw the interview and Dana doesn't want it. Why? Because he's going to get shot.
Dana wants it in Vegas. No. He thinks it'll be too dangerous.
Mate, we've had like Colby Covington go into Brazil and tell the Brazilian public that they're a bunch of dirty animals. Like, seriously. I would think that they're more...
They would need presidential level of security for that.
For what? Conor Khabib?
Conor.
It's
Conor, definitely.
But man, that would be like a spectacle.
Yeah.
You know what? Like,
and that's why Conor wants to do it.
Oh, yeah.
He wants to do
that
it.
as an experience, like is a bucket list item. Do you remember when we watched Conor and Khabib? Like, watched a lot of UFCs when the walkout came in. Do you remember like all the fog there? Like there was look at that. Like that's what I was getting at, because it was insane. You felt like the whole stadium was gonna they were all gonna punch each other.
Yeah.
It was that level of tension.
It was that level. everyone had a side, and
they were like furious. It was like it was on 100 degrees Celsius. Yeah, like that fight in Moscow.
And you could, like, we were in the pub and we could feel some of that tension there. So I was like, man,
and it just wasn't a normal tension between you and I.
I was like, man, this could blow off at any second here.
I'm like, are you Conor Khabib? Because I just want to throw down. There's a couple of things I've been meaning to get out of my chest, man. And I don't like that fucking shirt you're wearing.
But
so that was it.
That was nuts. But like, yeah. So Khabib that's not happening. Yeah, until after October.
It doesn't work within the timeline.
Doesn't work with the timeline. I'm not sure. So Masvidal, I think, has a fight as well, doesn't he? Jorge Masvidal.
No, he doesn't.
He doesn't.
And actually, prior to the
I think
the
he
fight
does.
There, no, he doesn't.
He's defending his title against someone.
The BMF ain't a damn title, man. Relax. It's like fucking toy candy. It's a toy belt, bro. It's not a title.
Kind of look like a toy, but I can't. But
so hold up. Masvidal had an interview in conjunction with the UFC 246.
Yeah.
And he said that he wanted to fight Conor.
Yeah.
So
did you see him? He was like,
yeah.
But no. So wait, from what was told, here's a title fight with Kamaru Usman.
It's an option. Yeah.
Yes.
It's there.
And
It's an option.
If that keeps him busy, then. But I think Masvidal McGregor is the fight. I don't think. And you love Usman.
Yeah.
I don't think Usman is the one right now.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
But yeah, as you saw the post-fight interview,
mate,
Conor, man, he was calling everyone out.
And what I like about this is the next characters that he goes against, they'll bring the old guy back.
Yeah. I think Masvidal versus Conor would be that would be pretty good.
Masvidal is Mr. 305. Kulo. Seriously, it's from mine Florida.
But
Kimbo Slice,
but,
he's bloody Latin American version of Conor McGregor. Seriously.
Yeah.
Good-looking guy. Anyway, hold on. So I'm gonna go through 4 fighters.
Yes. So that's what I think.
No.
It's not Khabib.
It makes sense.
Someone else.
So here's the thing: when all is said and done, they're gonna rerun that fight. Yeah. It does. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen.
It's gonna happen at some point.
If both of these guys never win a single fight, they go on like 2 or 3 fight. They'll still have that fight and they'll still sell out. Yeah. I'm gonna list 4 fighters that I think are the next fights, the best options for Conor. I'm gonna list them in order of least likely to most likely, or least likely to happen to most likely to happen. But how I'm gonna overlay this, and this is like 3D chess, in the sense that I'm gonna assume that I'm Dana White, right?
Yeah.
And I want to maximize my money as the UFC. Okay, so let's get to it. Number 4 is Kamaru, Black Panther, Usman.
He was there in the crowd, wasn't he?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, he was.
I like him.
Doing a little.
I like him. I like Kamaru, man. I like Kamaru. He's definitely there in the mix. So this fight would be at 170. Yes,
I think it will be. Yes.
Mate, Kamaru's got too much. He's too jacked to trim anymore there.
Yeah.
But so why does this fight make sense? I'll tell you what makes sense. So Kamaru is actually the current welterweight champion, right? Dethroned Tyron Woodley, had a really, emotionally charged fight with Colby Covington, which we watched, and was a great fight, right? So here's the 3D chess element with the UFC, which Dana's got to think. So there's a couple of things. Straight off the bat, you want to make money.
Yeah.
The first fight is Masvidal. It makes too much sense, right? They both want to fight. Yeah. Number one, and Masvidal's on this list, by the way. Yeah. However, a fight with Usman, who is the reigning champ, if Conor won, would make him a 3-time division champ in 3 different weight classes.
And they want Conor to be champ.
Well, that's never been done. Yeah. They'll actually, if he does that, that'll actually cement his legacy. Yeah. That's the quickest path to get there. Yeah. It's the quickest path. Go straight to the champ.
It's true.
So if you were to sell it, why this fight work? That's the fight. And secondly, that bit's got to appeal to Conor. Yeah. That's legacy. He's now fighting for legacy. He's got money. He's fucking got money.
He's got money. He's looking to leave a legacy in a sport which he loves.
Yeah. And so that's the quickest way to get to the title. beat the current king.
Yeah.
So that's Kamaru, right? And secondly, Kamaru's biggest hole is his stand-up. And this is Conor's biggest strength.
Yeah.
So Kamaru was actually getting touched up pretty early on by Colby Covington. Early in the fight. He was.
Yeah.
And the thing is, Colby Covington, he's like a ragdoll, right?
Yeah.
Like, he doesn't have power in it. He's an Nate Diaz, pow. So, in the end of the day, all fights start on the ground.
Yeah.
So, if Conor does very similar, bull rushes him, Superman punches him and KOs him, he's now essentially a three different weight division world champ. That's really got to appeal to him.
That would, but the only reason I don't say Kamaru is I just don't. I don't think Conor wants to fight him right now.
Shout out to Chad. Who's the Black Panther actor? Who is it?
Chadwick Boseman.
Chadwick Boseman, man. Coming for you, boy. You're right, and this is why it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Stylistically, it's the worst matchup of the four that I'm going to tell.
Yeah.
He does not want a lick of Kamaru.
No.
Kamaru is a Division 2 wrestler. D2 scrub. According to Colby Covington, he got clonked by him. Yeah. And he would do exactly this. And he's actually a guy that will want to win at all costs, meaning that he'll hug the guy for 5 rounds if he has to.
Yeah.
He would do it. And he's bigger, more jacked. He can take a little bit of a hit.
Yeah. And as you said before, in the previous episode, that Cerrone was a tune-up fight for Conor. I still think they want to keep tuning up Conor.
Yes.
A bit more.
And this is the 3D chess element.
Yeah.
You're right. You're correct. Well, that's one way to look at it, actually. Yeah. And that's dependent upon how gun-ho Conor is to go at it, right?
Yeah.
So lastly, why it doesn't make sense is, I'm going to mention 3 other fights. This is the least sellable of the 3 fights.
True. Yeah.
Kamaru, unfortunately, at this stage, he doesn't have that pulling power.
Not yet.
He might never have that pulling power. The thing is, Conor will pull anyway, right?
Yeah.
But if you have like a Conor and Masvidal, that's next level pulling power.
Yeah.
So number 5, Kamaru Usman. Yeah. I think that is an option there. But I don't think Conor wants him.
I don't think Conor wants at the moment. No.
Yeah. Yeah. And here's the thing: he loses against Kamaru.
Yeah.
It's going to be very hard justifying to the UFC brass that. How will he be Khabib? He can't be cool.
Yeah,
They're the same fighters. They just
it's dangerous for him.
It's very dangerous. It's flirting with danger, right? So I don't know if you see this one happening, but number 3 is Justin Gaethje. Have you heard of Justin Gaethje?
No, I haven't.
Okay. So casual.
Which is probably why it's likely.
Damn casuals.
Damn casual.
So look,
casual.
Damn casuals. Justin Gaethje is a very exciting fighter.
Yeah.
How do I explain Justin Gaethje? So he's a stand-up fighter. He likes standing and banging.
Yeah.
It's either KO, not even a TKO. He knocks people out.
Oh, okay.
Or he gets beaten.
Yeah.
Over a period of time.
What's his record?
He doesn't have the best record, but he's coming off a win off Cowboy.
Yeah.
So he's got some momentum. 22-2. Really?
Wow.
That's a good record. I felt like he had a worse record because in my mind, like Poirier beat him, so it kind of yeah. Look, he's a good fighter. He's really exciting. Check out the YouTube clips. If you're following, you'll know. So why this works? Firstly, Justin Gaethje and Conor actually have, I wouldn't call it a feud, but like a Twitter back and forth, right? Oh, okay. So Conor's already said that he wants to verse Justin Gaethje. Yeah. It's whenever. So again, to think about the UFC. It's actually not this fight would be at lightweight, by the way. Yeah. Not at.
Oh, so it would be at lightweight. Yeah,
he's a lightweight fighter, right? True. So why this works is stylistically, it would be a freaking exciting fight. Yeah. So I've essentially the type of fighter I've described to you is similar to Conor. They'll both stand and bang. That's the only way they know. Yeah. So it's a stand-up war. People will want to see that, right? It'll be amazing. So the knock with Justin is he doesn't adapt on the fly a lot, meaning that if he's getting not like if a technically superior fighter, which Conor would be in terms of the stand-up, is beating him, he'll just go forward like a zombie. He doesn't know. He takes a lot of damage to dish out the damage, and those are exciting fighters to watch.
So yes, that's the technical fight side of it.
Yeah.
But what about the selling aspect of it? Which is why I don't think this will happen.
It could happen, and I think it's more
likely.
I
don't know, Jason. I don't know him. I'm a casual.
You're a cash, mate.
Like, no, but I'm a casual.
Yeah.
And I don't know him. So if I don't know him, then a lot of people don't know him.
That's fair. That's fair.
Right? So still, like, it's the same Kamaru.
That's fair. Yeah. So that's one of the reasons why it doesn't work.
Yeah.
So another reason why this works is Justin Gaethje is actually on the cusp of fighting for a title for the lightweight. He's actually that good, right? So he's within top 5 fighter, right? So what this does is it actually provides a linear, and this is the other element that UFC matchmakers need to figure out. It provides an element. It gives the winner of Conor. So this is what you can do. Khabib and Tony the winner of that needs to fight someone.
Yeah.
So you can instantaneously give it to Conor, which we have ascertained within the timeline doesn't fit because he wants to fight, right?
He wants at least 2 before that fight.
Correct. So what this does is this gives you an exciting fight in the interim to the winner of that fights the winner of Khabib and Tony. Yeah, it actually sorts that out. Yeah. So that's the other thing about matchmaking. It's not necessarily about giving money fights straight away because
it's the contender fights.
You need to build that up, right? And importantly, there's only so many stars in the UFC.
Then I think it makes sense. The contender part of it because they're building Conor's brand up again now in the UFC. They're trying to he beats, so only great. If he beats the next contender in line, that tells everyone that Conor is
100%, and
he's back.
Not that this is a tune-up fight because this would be like essentially
it would mean more.
This is essentially Cowboy when he was younger, just a much more sharper guy. 21 and 2. I didn't even know his record was that good.
Yeah.
Trust me. Look at his YouTube clips.
Yeah.
You'll see it, right? So,
if he's beating a number 1 contender, it makes more sense.
So this is why this makes sense, and this is the layered element about matchmaking, right? You can't use all your good fights early on because you have a whole calendar year to prepare for.
You got to. This is the promotional side of it.
Correct.
You got to build it up.
Yeah.
So you got to build up Conor as a fighter. You build him up again.
Yeah.
And Khabib's already there.
Correct.
So then when Conor's up there and Khabib's there, that's when you hit him.
Correct. And what you get out of this is you get more Conor fights.
Yes.
You get to extend it, right? If that kind of makes sense.
Dana White probably wants this, actually, to be honest, because then he'll be able to make more money.
It makes sense.
Instead of just on one
Here's
fight.
the caveat, right?
Yeah.
Why it doesn't work. And the interesting thing with McGregor is McGregor is now back to the flavor of the month, right? Unless you're fighting for the title, to which he'd be a headlining fight, I see it very hard putting Conor McGregor in a card where he's not the main event. I don't even see him being able to stomach the reputation of being a co-main event.
You think they wouldn't put him in the main event if there's a title on the line?
That's what I think. So I think that they wouldn't do it.
I think
that they wouldn't, and I think him as an individual would be too prideful. I actually think that you got to. That's another element. You actually got to think about it because he's calling shots, and there is that other element in that. I just think that the pride element, because this wouldn't be a title fight, right?
No.
So. What you could do is you could put this in a similar card there and stack the card and put it there. But my mind is saying, and it just depends on how many title shots they are or how many fights. How many cards can you do? Because what's happening with the UFC is, and it's dependent upon fighters, but they haven't spread out their cards very well, and they've pulled cards from not having main events.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Yeah. Because fighters get injured.
Yeah,
fighters get injured.
Right? And sometimes even lead up, they get injured.
Yeah, well. Exactly.
Like very close to the event, and I think even in the card.
So
there was
there was
that was cancelled.
Yeah,
wasn't
it was. I can't pronounce the name. But it got cancelled.
Yeah, is that the Gadella, wasn't it? Gadella. Yeah. Sorry, cancelled as well.
So that got cancelled. So another reason why this doesn't work is it's a very dangerous fight, in the sense that all fights are dangerous fights. But this guy puts people to sleep.
21 and 2.
Conor's already said that it's one thing being beaten, but it's the other thing being knocked out. Man, you get knocked out and it sets you back. And more importantly...
Ask Ronda Rousey.
Yeah, exactly. No, you've hit the nail on the head. Getting a traumatic knockout
it's bad.
And for a guy like Conor, the apex of Conor is when he had unlimited confidence. What the hell is that? Like, he goes in doing this shit. Like, he has insane confidence. It's probably because he's gotten choked out, but he hasn't tasted the
count.
To get tapped out, you are engaging that. It's not that someone's choking you out and you're like going like that. That's really embarrassing.
You're basically
But to get knocked out, this guy, if he wins, he will really knock you out. That's brutal. So it's dangerous because
it's dangerous in that aspect. Yeah,
and you could say that's the same for the other sort of fights as well.
Yeah, true.
So it's interesting, but that's Gaethje.
It's dangerous for an interim fight.
Correct.
Yeah,
it's dangerous for a fight that doesn't have title implications on the line.
That's where
you roll the dice and you think, mate, okay, so perceive risk, perceive reward. So if my reward is simply to get to the dance, mate, I could just wait until October and I'm at the dance. So tell me, what would you pick? Exactly, but that's what I mean. But you could wait till December and you're at the dance. Yeah. So if you're trying to sell to me, I'm going to make you fight a really dangerous fighter just to get to the dance. Is that really that appealing to you? No. It's only appealing to you if you generally want to test yourself. But again, this is high stakes part too.
I think Conor does.
I agree. And
this is the mindset that he does want to.
I agree. And this is what makes it fascinating, right?
Yeah.
So, number 3. And this will surprise you. George Masvidal. So what I'm saying is I don't think he's the best option.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's why I'm saying this will surprise you.
Yeah.
So I'll tell you. So why does it work? Why does it work? Tell me, why does it work?
Well, for me, it works because, as you said, like I was watching the broadcast and Masvidal, he looked like a very confident fighter and he's got a mouth on him.
Yeah.
And it just seems natural for, the two of the big mouths.
It would sell the
fighters.
Shit out of this fight.
That would sell
absolutely
people into the
sell this fight
with the bad blood.
This is the money fight.
This is a money fight, but
did you see what he was wearing?
What did Conor say? Something a red coat wearing,
I don't know, but like
it's interesting.
So basically, it was mimicking Conor's outfit, right?
Yeah.
What a funny dude, bro. But I like it. Like he's basically he wants to fight that Conor. Yeah. So why does it work, mate? He's a culo version. Culo.
Yeah. He's a Mexican Conor.
He's not Mexican, mate. He's
Puerto Rican.
Son. With a name like George, man.
I don't even think it's George. I think it's Jorge. Jorge Masvidal.
What ethnicity? What part of Miami?
They started building it. They started building it
Spanish
at the post-fight interview.
Yeah.
Even before, like in the pre-fight interview with Masvidal, like you can tell, like they are building it, but whether Conor wants him,
it's the money fight. Stylistically, they're both strikers, so it's an exciting fight.
Makes sense.
It actually makes sense. And this is one of the few fights that I've noted that as a non-title fight, I see it easily Conor accepting it. Because, mate, you know what I mean? There's massive trucks of money.
So what do you think it won't happen?
It's not that it won't happen. I have a fight that I actually think overlap. Okay, so stylistically it works. Yeah. One is the flavor of the month. They can sell it now, right?
Yeah.
This is why I think it doesn't work, and this has to do more with the business side. Yeah. One is it's a non-title shot. He's not the king of the welterweight division, right?
Yeah.
He's a fucking BMF. Here's the BMF title. Unless maybe he puts that Conor would want to go for the baddest month. That just sounds cool, right? So unless he's willing to part with that, to which he said he's a gambling man, Jorge Masvidal. Yeah. And he'd only put that down the line if you had something to put down the line. Yeah. So what collateral does Conor have? Unless he's like, I'll give you Conor
has his reputation.
500K in cash. What's the reputation,
Conor
man?
Has his reputation.
I'm about culo, man. I want the money.
Masvidal looks like the person that wants to stop.
But he's about the money.
No. But I could see Masvidal being like, this is an opportunity for me to stop the Conor party.
100%.
And he's 100%. Like, if I become that guy that stops his party dead.
Yeah.
How fucking popular will I be?
Here's the thing, man. A guy like Masvidal, there's a lot of intentions and motivations that lay around it. But money is the be-all and end-all.
Money is the be-all.
I tell you what, he'd fight Usman if you gave him insane trunk of cash.
Money,
he said it.
Money will be the problem in this.
Why would it be a problem?
No, in the sense that Masvidal will want a bigger purse, and I don't know if they'll give it to him.
Here's the thing: they'll negotiate, and they should negotiate. But he's not going to get as much as Conor. He knows that.
He wants something.
He'll want a decent
amount. I think
definitely.
Yeah.
But how the UFC arranges it is the main events and the co-main events get pay-per-view points.
Yep.
So it'll be up to them to create a narrative, to hype it up. Yeah. So UFC will be selling on that. Sell this fight and you'll get your money. It's a performance marketing play essentially. So look, I think the money element will sell itself because out of all the fights that I mentioned, even the one that I think is the best fight for factoring all reasons, it just works. So why it doesn't work? It's a non-title fight. Does that really motivate Conor? I think for this fight, I think it does, right? Why, even more than that, why I think it's not that it doesn't work, is I think that you can have this fight later and it'll still work. I think both of these fights
after Khabib.
It's not even after Khabib. I think both of these fighters could lose 1 or 2 in a row, and you could still sell this fight. And this is the business element of it. True. Why save? Why chew up all your bandwidth now when you don't know how you're going to rearrange the card decks in the
this seems like a fight that can happen after even
it can
Conor and Masvidal
so
at some point
it can because they have enough yapping power to be able to sell the fight.
It would be a blood food type type of fight. So you're right.
And this is where like straight off the bat everyone's like, Masvidal, it has to happen. Of course it just makes sense there, but if you're the UFC, how do I prolong this Conor thing?
Conor comeback.
How do I prolong? Like Jorge is the flavor of the month. This year, it could be a new fighter. It'll probably be like Israel or someone like that, right? So how do I prolong this? Because for the UFC, as long as you're making money, they'll make money with you. But if you're not, they won't. So it makes sense to not chew up everything now, but spread out. There's a business element, right?
That's why I think the negotiations will take long, and the Khabib fight might even move to 2021, to be honest.
Yeah. There's so many fights here. Like you don't have, there's enough intrigue there happening. Yeah. You don't rush it. You play out all these fights. And the thing is, these are fighters. He could have any one of these fights and be seriously injured. Yeah. Injured to the point where he's out for a year. Yeah. You know what I mean? So you've got to layer a lot of, it's not as simply like, oh, with Jorge it makes so much sense because it does make sense, but can you extend the Conor star out? Do you want to build him or do you want to take him to Sharks straight away, right?
And this is why I think Dana White is a genius. You know, he knows how to lay that out. He knows how to plan all that.
Well, he certainly gives that impression.
Yeah. Well, he gives that impression that he does, but I think he is a very good promoter. He knows what he's doing.
Oh yeah, for sure. There are very few companies where the president is so synonymous. Like you can't think of the UFC and not think of Dana White. No. So he's amazing. He's an amazing businessman. Yeah. Like there's other things that have been said about him, but like he does know what he's doing. He's a very strong leader. Yeah. Mate, so last one. The fight that I think makes sense on all regards. Money, factoring Conor, spreading out the love in terms of that.
Are you going to say Floyd? Don't say Floyd. That's not
Floyd. Nah, hell no. Who do you think it is?
Ooh, I don't know.
He's fought this guy before.
He isn't Khabib, obviously, but oh, you think it's Diaz, don't you?
Nate, the great Diaz.
So I think
Rocky tritrilogy. This makes sense on every level. Every fucking level, it makes sense.
And I saw Nate Diaz's tweet.
What did he tweet? Yeah, I saw that too.
He tweeted like, something about
boring. Nate Diaz.
No, he said there's something about being rigged or something.
Weak as fuck. We're ready. We're there.
This is kind of
weak as fuck.
Yeah, he said something about it being rigged. So this sells itself. Yes, it does.
I'll tell you why this works. Yeah. This is a sick fight. There's already demand for it, right? Yeah. He won one. He lost one. It just makes sense to go to trilogy. Bang. Number one. Yeah. Of all the fights that I've mentioned, I actually think this is the easiest fight for Conor.
Oh, really?
I think so.
Okay.
And in my mind, they fought at welter. I think they fought at light. I could be wrong. I would fight this at a catch weight, in the middle.
In the middle.
Interesting. This is essentially a secondary tune-up fight. Yeah. I think of all the fighters.
You don't think Diaz is?
No. Don't misquote me, mate. I'm gonna get hate mail. I'm saying that Kamaru Usman. Hell no. He doesn't want to see that. Justin Gaethje, stakes are high here, man. This is Russian roulette with like a smoking revolver. He misses, he's gonna eat the canvas. George Masvidal is equally the same sort of guy. You saw what he did with bloody Ben Askren. He sent him to retirement. He baptized the guy. Of all the fighters, I think that this is the easiest fight. That's not to say it's an easy fight. Yeah. Of all the fighters, I think this is it's disrespectful to call a fight with Nate a tune-up fight. But I think of the fighters that I've mentioned, this is the easiest option of all of them.
Now, where I think it won't happen is if this is the plan, or was the plan, Diaz would have been there at the pay-per-view to build this up. He knows what, I know the pay-per-view sells itself.
Yeah,
but
I agree.
They wouldn't, Diaz would have been there as well. Just to get on Conor's,
and I'll give you my counterpoint,
just to build something a little bit.
Yeah.
He sent a tweet out, which is great.
That's all he does.
But I think if UFC, so what I've heard was, I think UFC were testing Conor with this to see whether he can draw and whether he could win. And then they're apparently Conor's sitting down with Dana White this week and having dinner and discussing his next couple of days. Yes. So
some proper 12.
I wonder if they talked before about this, about his next fight, even before this fight.
Why not? You can have prospective talks.
Yeah.
Let me.
If they did, then it was about Masvidal. It wasn't about Diaz.
Oh, yeah. So again, from a fight perspective, I think this just works on a lot more levels, i.e., spreading the talent around, tuning Conor up a little bit more, because you're 40 seconds, mate. We still don't know, right? We actually, and if he's being honest with himself, he still doesn't know too.
Yeah,
he still doesn't.
That's why he wants to fight quickly,
straight away, and it makes sense.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you the reason Nate wasn't there, because Nate and UFC have shitty relationships. They actually don't have a good relationship, so he'll never do anything for the UFC. He can't. It's a marriage of necessity, if that kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
Nate has a following. The UFC has a platform, and that's how they work. So he's never going to be pro. He's not that guy, right? He's not Masvidal. That'll. So
he won't build it on UFC's terms. He'll build it on his terms.
He'll smoke a joint. He'll go and shoot and that's what makes this fight so fascinating, right?
That's why he's using social media to build this. Actually, it makes sense.
It makes sense
in that sense, yeah.
And to me, this could be, and I don't know what his new contract with UFC, or even if he has it, this could be one of the last times we see Nate Diaz in the UFC. Yeah. So I think what's going to motivate. So again, if you think of it as a business, if you have an asset that you don't necessarily on good business terms, but there's something that's motivating to him.
Get the last bit out of him.
Get the last. So
whatever last money there is, get it out of him.
Get it out of him. Just choke it out of just his blunt smoking lungs. Yeah. So that's what I mean. Fight making is not. It's very simple to sit in the couch and I want Masvidal. I want
you got to think of the promoter side.
You got to think of the promoter side, and it's the money side. So these are really realistic scenarios. Yeah. And generally, I do feel of all the fights that this is the easiest one to win.
Yeah, true.
Mate, Nate ain't gonna knock him out cold. Nate will choke him out, but he's not gonna knock. He's gonna, punch him 50 times until he bleeds a cut. But he's not gonna. Nate does not have knockout power.
Yeah.
He has. I mean, he could. He might. He does.
Yeah.
I mean, he's never showed it. Right. That is what it is. So why it doesn't work? Does this option out of all the options that I've told you appeal to Conor? Maybe not. Maybe it does. He's actually, by the way, he's already said bring it on, Nathan, in his press conference. So that's the brilliant thing about Conor. He is a businessman and he leaves every door open.
That's why there's so many.
Come with the fucking checks and show me the money. All right. So that's what it is. How do you build a card around this if there's no title? And that to me is a really big thing, because I generally don't. I mean, you can. There's enough.
Conor doesn't need a title. I think Conor doesn't need it. He sells the the fact Diaz. The trilogy, it sells itself.
It does sell itself, and it could work in a month where the UFC needs to has a weaker sort of deck, and they need to send it. Yeah. I think what's really confused me is the UFC went through a phase where all they had as the main events were title shots.
Yeah,
they loaded up the last one with 3 title shots. Yeah. So why would you do that? And what it is that there's an expectation now that a pay-per-view where you're forking in $60 or whatever it is, has to have a title shot. At least that's my expectation. You're lifting up a premium level of your product. Yeah. So to them to go back consistently there, to me, I feel it's diluting their product. That's me. I could be wrong.
I think it's diluting the titles. So the fact that if the titles are not on your card, what's happening with those titles?
When you're keeping it.
No, but in terms of it's such a big thing to have those titles. Right? Such prestige.
Yeah.
If if it's not the main event of the card, that's the conundrum. You know, if Conor McGregor's there, and then the title
correct, and so that's what I mean. Like,
are you diminishing the title? Are you sort of saying that doesn't mean as
correct?
Much?
Exactly.
That's the problem.
And this is where I feel that there's like a big ego element here. It'll be very hard to build a card that has Conor that doesn't have a title fight that has a title fight in it. Yeah. Because it could arguably be that people are tuning in for the Conor fight, which is not a title fight. Oh, you know what I mean? Yeah. Then you're isolating your other champions.
That's right.
It's actually very difficult to and that's where you know what I mean? Because there's a very real and apparent human element. Fuck off, Dana White, man. I ain't gonna do it. You know what I mean?
But the other side of the coin is that if you have Conor McGregor non-title fight with someone, and then you have a title fight like Usman and like someone else,
Black Panther, Chadwick Boseman.
You can draw even a bigger pay-per-view buy because of the fact that people are tuning in for different fighters.
They are.
That like you'll probably even get something bigger.
And I think like just one element that I picked on is like Conor is the biggest. He is the biggest star, but you don't want to at the expense to isolate your other champions.
Yeah,
that's what you don't want to do.
And you don't want to make them look less.
Exactly.
If that makes any sense.
Like if you're in a fight card as Conor, and he's not fighting for a title, and you're fighting for a title, arguably, here's the thing, right? The main event, they get the bulk of the pay-per-view points.
Yeah.
So if you do a card with a championship, fight there, and a Conor fight that has non-championship implications, like a Nate versus Conor 3, you better believe Conor will have better pay-per-view points. Yeah. So as a champion, you're thinking, what the hell, man?
Yeah. Now, this is actually another conversation I wanted to have.
Yeah.
It's actually a bigger one in the sense that this is where I think the UFC is sort of failing a bit in its marketing and promotion.
For fighter management,
in general, pay-per-views.
Yeah.
This is an element where I think they're missing something. So if you look at any other sport, Super Bowl, wrestling with WrestleMania, there's always a big event like that. It's leading up to that big event.
Links into it. Yeah.
I think UFC needs something like that, and I think they could sell out a stadium very,
of course they could,
very easily.
Of course they could, but they do. Yeah, but then. For example, Bellator does a very good version of this where they have it's like a round robin.
Yeah.
They have a fight, like it's seeding and brackets, and then you go there. But that's brutal on the actual.
Yeah, but I just think like it would add something new to it.
Oh yeah.
Rather than just being like your regular sort of pay-per-view, it feels like you're building something, towards something. Like you're fighting on the biggest stage of them all.
Yeah.
That's what I think UFC needs, and I think it'd be so cool to have a supercard where you have some of the best fighters. Yeah. And you pay premium tickets to be in that stadium.
Yeah. Look, let's explore this because you're right. The UFC, I think they're in a really good place and they own the market. Yeah. But there's
that's what they could learn.
They could innovate. They could always innovate.
Even though wrestling has taken a deep dive down into irrelevance.
Yeah.
I still think they can learn from what made wrestling great in its heyday.
Yeah.
And it was this whole thing of, especially WrestleMania, the fact that it builds up. It's a 3-month build from like January to April, a 4-month build. And there's intricacies in the story and all that sort of stuff. And it all builds up to the grandest stage of them all. Yeah. That's what I want for UFC. I want the grandest stage for UFC. It has to feel bigger than any of the other shows.
Yep.
But we're just going to see whether Dana will do something like that. But
Uncle Dana.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. There's a lot UFC can learn the promotion side of things as well. And even though it's doing very well right now,
not bad. Yeah,
they can be even better.
Absolutely, absolutely. Mate, we're at the end of it. Episode 2. Not bad.
It's pretty good.
Good size.
I mean, it was a 40-second fight, so I don't know how long.
Yeah.
I think we've gone longer than the first episode.
Look, like I said,
40-second fight.
Everyone loves it when Connor's winning, especially as podcasters. A lot of things to talk about. Thanks, guys.